So, Cheyenne, as we were chatting before, I wanted to give you a warm welcome and thank you so much for making up the time for sitting down with me and talking a bit about how your firm has progressed and why you have the Wise Factor. You were wanting to talk about your progress ever since you started with Tim, so I'll give you the floor so you can share all the insights and your experience while working with Wise Growth.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, thank you for connecting with me. And yeah, I've had quite an incredible experience. Our firm, since we've joined Wise and before the program, there were a lot of materials that I saw online, some of the I guess videos and some of the documents that were prepared on the various social media channels, and they all just made sense to me. I was like, oh yeah, this is perfect. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's what we need. And then from there, I just knew that, you guys knew what you were talking about, and you knew exactly what the issues we faced were and how to deal with them. And it was like solutions that I'd never seen before that made sense in terms of the problems we were facing. So once, I had a chance to go through the materials and sit down and understand them, then I reached out right away and we got started. And yeah, it was a lot of factors that went into the decision, but I knew that the investment was worth it based on some of the knowledge from the informational materials. And when we had our initial call and everything made sense, and it was a perfect fit for us and what we wanted to do with our firm and where we were, and it gave us a lot of knowledge since we joined to sort of scale our firm to the next level.
That's awesome. And I'm so happy that you felt like it was a fit since the first moment. I wanted to ask you something because you are giving me the context that you were finding these resources useful. But what was happening in your firm at the time that you felt like you needed help? So, which one of these resources felt like
Mhm.
it was what you were trying to do, that it was a fit for that? Like, which area of your firm you wanted to improve then?
Yeah, for sure. I think we always had the ability to bring on a lot of work. And, each year, if we added a couple 100,000, 300,000, 400,000, it was like, oh my gosh, this is a ton of work to do. And we'd have to stop taking on leads at a certain point because we just had too much work. And it
Good
was
problem to have.
always, yeah, it's a
It's
good
a
problem to have. Yeah. But we were never able to like scale the way we wanted to or based on how many leads we actually had available. So we were saying no to a lot of people. I saw the team structure, I saw the sort of organizational structure, the videos, or maybe it was like these one-pager documents. It just clicked to me. I was like, oh yeah, that's our problem. Our teams are not strong enough and not structured the right way, and this makes total sense in terms of how it should be structured. So yeah, that was our main challenge, is that we didn't know how to structure, we didn't know how to set it up so that we could take on more work and build capacity and build the teams to scale. We always wanted to scale in a certain trajectory and at a strong pace, but we weren't able to just because our teams weren't set up correctly. And so that was huge for us. And because of that, in the this past year, we probably took on over 1 million more of new work. And before, like that would be, not even possible for us. So we had the lead. It just confirmed that we are able to take on a ton more. It's just a matter of we needed the right structures.
Yeah, and with what you were saying, so you were doing the flat and shallow team structure instead of the deep and narrow one.
Yeah, exactly.
So when you started implementing all of this is a question I ask most of our members because I feel like this is something that also happened with them. I wanted to ask you. So the technicals and the team structure and all of these profitability and scalability resources are one of our strongest values at Wise. But we also have like the mindset part, like the coaching part and culture in your firm. Do you feel like there was a mindset shift since you started working with, or it was aligned with what you were working before?
I think that there was a lot we've learned from, Tim and the rest of the team, Jamie, Ed, Thomas, the coaches, in terms of how to improve our firm and mindset and growth and culture. Definitely, like we every time we speak to them, we pick up a lot of information. We sort of had tried different things throughout the years, and we, some things worked and some things didn't. Whereas, at some point we tried offshoring, we used offshore company and that worked, and then it didn't. And so, we learned to hire directly rather than using any offshore company. So that there's small tweaks and or that resulted in big changes for us. Or we had certainly tried things in the past and it didn't work out. And the guys at Wise explained to us, the best practices and how to actually implement certain things. So there's a ton of knowledge and resources and guidance that may think it's small, but they all compound and together that it makes a substantial difference in any one practice.
That's amazing to hear, and I'm really happy that this happened for you, because this is another question I had. So for that Cheyenne that was not taking clients because the firm couldn't manage this work and all of that, so what advice would you say to someone who is in the same place you were, like in that spot? What would you tell them?
I think that we have limiting beliefs in terms of what our challenges are and what we're able to accomplish, to think bigger and get the right coaches, get the right team in place, because especially the people Wise have all been through it. They have optimized the structures so that you don't have, it's not, the practice is not reliant on only the one partner or two partners or a couple of people, and it allows you to grow it like any other business or corporation. It just frees up time. It allows you to think bigger, and it's an amazing tool to help, change, not only your practice, but like your life, because you don't have to work or spend too much time in the business if you don't want to. You got to focus on what you actually want to spend your time on in the business.
Yeah, you mentioned something super important. I love that you brought it up. So we talk about this thing about building a firm that runs without you. Often in sessions like master classes and everything, we talk about this sentence, building a business that runs without you. So how does it make you feel? Does it make you feel scared, excited? Is that something you're looking forward to? Is that something you see happening in the near future? Or do you feel like you have to work a lot more towards that?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. We've seen with the structures we've implemented and all the things we've learned at Wise that it is possible. And if you build the right team, put the right people in the right seats, then there's a lot of flexibility that comes with that. Whatever one's goals are, if it's to sort of still be involved in practice, but in a limited role, or to only be doing, let's say, business development or partnerships, like you get to really, I've been able to sort of take myself out of it, a lot of the work, I'd say 75-80% of it, and I could take myself completely out, but I still want to be involved with my team and train them up and be hands-on a little bit. Because I've freed up that time, I get to focus on growth and processes and business development and partnerships and joint ventures and a lot of really important things that can help take our business to the next level. And I've told our team, I don't, we want to take this as far as we can and really shoot for the stars here. So each year we want to do 50% to 100% growth. We don't want to sort of minimize our goals. We want to try to go as strong as we can. And, I think this year we already have signed maybe about another 25 to 30% more work than we did last year. And we're just at the start of our fiscal year. So I think that once you get in, you can see what other people have done, and you understand that if you're committed to it and you put in the time and effort, you can easily change the trajectory of your business and your practice, your life, like within a year, like not even, exaggerating, probably a year, you can get a lot done.
That's amazing. So I know the mentors, I know the trajectory. So I agree with you. It's possible. To the message you sent out to the people who would see yourself in your position like 3 years back from now, I agree with that. You have to believe that you can. And that's basically something, one of our first learnings in Wise, like beginning with the end in mind. So I love that you mentioned that. So for our last question, so now that you said you freed up time, I wanted to ask you on a more personal note, what's a hobby you have? What's activity you enjoy to do out of work that you now have more time to do? And you in the future, hopefully, fingers crossed, you will have even more time to dedicate to that.
Yeah, that's a good question. So there's a few things. One is I love playing basketball, so definitely try to play basketball at least once a week. And then I love coaching as well. So entrepreneurs
So cool.
and yeah, so through another organization, I'm part of entrepreneurs organization in the Toronto chapter. I've been had the option to be heavily involved there where I get to for the last year and a half, coaching a group of younger entrepreneurs who are trying to make it into EO Toronto, our local chapter, and get to help them scale their businesses and grow their businesses. And it's a big commitment. It's at least 5 to 10 hours a month. And, that's time that I'm taking away from our business and or our family and spending there. And, I have the flexibility to do that. So I'm spending at least like 10 to 20 hours a month just working and meeting and connecting with other entrepreneurs. And I have the flexibility to do so. So, I get to work with some really exciting young people and look at other, even investment opportunities and travel. So, my goal is to travel at least somewhere new once every other month. So, get to do that. And now that we're also virtual, so gonna try to start working remotely from different places soon too. I have small kids, so limits how much I can do that, but they're in school. But the goal is to start taking them away and for extended periods of time and working in new places as well.
That's amazing. That sounds like an amazing plan. And what you said about coaching, I feel like the rule of 33% fits you like a perfect ring. So it was like when you started Wise, so you received mentoring and coaching, and then you went on and empower yourself to do the same with other people who want to learn. So I think that's a very amazing thing to do with your free time. Now you have time to teach others how to scale and how to become better entrepreneurs. So that's amazing. So,
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Enjoy it. Yeah.
anything you want to add in our chat, in our conversation that I'm not asking you, or anything that you would like to say before we wrap up?
No, you got great questions.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. Well, thank you so much for your answers and your time, and I'll see you around.